This is the Bitcoin 1 month overview reading for the month of November 2024. It's currently October 31st, 2024, 2:37 p.m. Eastern Time. Bitcoin at the time of this reading is $70,268.32 USD. The shuffle video for the Bitcoin November monthly reading was created on August 21st, 2024 at 5:27 p.m. Eastern Time. We're actually doing an emergency re-recording right now because the sound quality of the first recording was so terrible. I'm doing it last minute to kind of like make a better recording, but it's an emergency recording, guys, so please keep in mind there may be some background noise. I apologize for that. In this video, we're going to cover the overall trend direction for the month, as well as any important chart events that take place throughout the month. We're also going to cover the week-by-week chart behavior, timing of the peaks and troughs. Then we're going to get into a review of the previous month's reading to give you an idea of what our accuracy really is like. And we're going to give you one of the best trades that we see for the month. The timing, for the most part, is going to be on point to the day, but there will be some cases where the sequence of events, as outlined in the prediction, will remain accurate, but the day might be off plus or minus a day of wiggle room here or there. In other readings, you won't need to plus or minus wiggle room at all. Point being is that you want to follow the sequence of events as outlined by the prediction. When trading this information, you don't want to use price levels as your entry and exits. This is very important. You want to make sure that you're trading with entry and exits based on chart behavior and general timing, but look for the chart behavior. All of that in this video. Stay tuned to watch the review at the end. So the overall theme of behavior for Bitcoin in November, we have a period of sideways rotation that ends with a fast sudden move higher. It's crossed with at least one important trough on a 1-year chart scale. Behavior around the highest high, we have a pop and a drop. Behavior around the lowest low, we have sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bears, inflow and outflow, going sideways up and down, but sideways along a key support level, probably on a 1-year chart scale as well. Usually you see the low more than once when you see that the change card in the low significator position. And that would also go hand in hand with the overall theme being sideways rotation. So really another tricky month to determine exactly where the highest high and the lowest low are based on it being mostly sidewaysy kind of behavior. But we'll probably get more clarity, but we'll get more clarity as we move forward in the reading. Now, I'm going to give you the day-by-day chart behavior throughout the month of November. This is to be used as a guide for sequence of events. The timing is usually right on point to the day, but there will be cases where the reading may have a moment here or there where it's plus or minus 1 or even 2 days on the timing, but the sequence of events will always remain accurate unless I've done a poor job or something like that. So, you want to pay attention to the sequence of events, use this as a guide for that. If you want to know where the highest highs and the lowest lows are and all the other trades, then that's something that you get with monthly access. Also, that's where you would get the Discord trade alerts and live updated trading view charts. But we're going to go through that day-by-day chart behavior, and then we'll review October, and then we're going to come back and give you one of the best trades that we see for the month of November. So stay tuned for that. All right, so it looks like we're coming out of a decline into the first, and there's a notable reversal on the first with a move back to the upside on the second. I'm actually picking up on, I might not have even picked up on this in the first reading, but I'm picking up on a notable trough or low there around the cusp of the first second, and I'm being advised not to. That we'll probably want to chase that decline. I'm being advised not to chase that decline. So on the second, a period of volatility, a sharp drop within that period of volatility, and then on the third, we have a period of sideways rotation. There's likely a fast sudden move higher ending that sideways rotation, but we also have, yes, I'm actually getting two energies, both saying the same thing: sideways rotation ending with a fast sudden move higher. And that'll take us into an important resistance level on the fourth, where we probably do some flat behavior around that resistance. On the third, we have likely another important trough on a 1-month scale and a rally along a diagonal trend line that breaks through horizontal resistance to meet another resistance, and then it'll pull back to somewhere between those two price levels. The rally probably takes us out of a trough and into the sixth, where we hit a key resistance again. It's likely to be the same resistance that we saw before, but not necessarily. It looks like it could be, but not necessarily. And usually when you see the truce card, you'll have this notable rally into the resistance, and you'll abruptly turn around and have a notable decline that usually surpasses the point at which the rally before it started. It does look like there's a lot of price change here to the downside at the end of the day. It takes us to another prominent trough on the cusp of the 6th, 7th. So a little difficult to determine, based on what I'm seeing, a bit difficult to determine if we're moving back. So we hit that resistance on the 6th, turn around, and we decline pretty notably back into a trough. And there's likely sideways rotation there. And possibly a fast sudden move higher, ending the sideways rotation temporarily. It looks like we attempt to establish support on the 8th. And that's another important trough on a 1-month scale. On the 9th, we have a rally increasing with momentum moving forward into an important crest. From that crest, we should sell off down to and through support, break through that second support, do a U-shaped reversal, come back and reuse that price level as support. And it looks like there's an important support level highlighted on the 10th. So it might be that we rally through the 9th into the peak on the cusp of the 9th, 10th. Then we turn around, decline to and through support to meet another support, break through that, do a U-shaped reversal, come back, reuse it as support. And then there should be a pretty notable move to the upside on the 10th out of that important support. It'll be important support on a 1-year chart scale. On the 11th, we have a prominent move higher followed by a full retracement into a trough at the beginning of the day, roughly on the 12th. And then there should be a notable move to the upside from, on the 12th. Probably sideways rotation, and then a notable move to the upside. It gets pretty tricky here. There's some price swinging going on here between the 12th and the 14th. But we have a move from that trough on the cusp of the 11th, 12th. There's a peak at the beginning of the day on the 13th, and then another trough at the end of the day on the 13th. So we either go like up, down, up, or we go up, sideways, up. One of those two, it's a little hard to determine, but we go from trough on the 11th, 12th, peak on the 13th, trough on the end of the day on the 13th. Then we have a rally out of that trough at the end of the day on the 13th, a rally on that'll stand out on a 1-month scale, and that's a trade opportunity I'll talk about probably at the end of this video. There's a breakout that looks like it doesn't hold, but there is a breakout there on the 14th, creating an important peak on a 1-month scale. And then there's likely a trough also there in not too distant future after that false breakout. We decline on the 15th down to and through support to hit another support, and then we rotate sideways along that second support. On the 16th, we have a brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a decline through multiple support levels. That decline ends with a fast, sudden move higher, taking us into an important technical price level on the 17th. It'll be important on a 1-year chart scale, and then there's an important trough on the 17th as well. Erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level on the 18th. In the midst of that erratic behavior, we usually revisit a crest that was a past opportunity. There should be an important trough around the 18th as well on a multi-day scale, an important trough, and on the cusp of. While there's a lot of trade opportunity surrounding the 18th in the midst of that erratic behavior back and forth, both in bullish and bearish, so that's an area of time where I would definitely be following along with the Discord trade alerts and live updated trading view charts, because we're likely going to be able to make some money around that time. But there's a trade opportunity on the cusp of the 18th, 19th. Looks like it's open up some protection, multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance on the 19th, and then there's an important trough on a 1-month scale highlighted early in the day on the 20th, out of which there's a fast sudden move higher, and then more movement to the upside on the 21st. Taking us into likely an important peak of some kind on the 22nd that we sell off from pretty significantly into another important trough on a 1-month scale on the 23rd, where we rotate sideways. There's a rally on the 24th offering trade opportunity again. Some significant price swinging going on here between the 24th and the 25th. It looks like we have a peak and a trough taking place on the 26th. Some pretty mixed sideways behavior, sideways S formation within a channel, either sideways or to the downside on the 27th, and then a lot of price change, a lot of volatility and price change and ground covered on the 28th, taking us back to a peak on the cusp of the 28th, 29th, where we have a trade opportunity that will stand out on probably amongst other trade opportunities throughout the month of November. There's a peak there at the cusp of the 28th, 29th. And then on the 30th, we have the abundance card indicating either like a high. It could be indicating a highest high, or it's indicating a new high. So on the 30th, it could be the abundance card could be indicating like a high for the month, but it's unlikely based on what I'm seeing. More likely, what I'm seeing is off of the peak on the 28th, 29th, we have a significant drop, and then a turnaround to the upside, ending the drop somewhere on the 30th, and that'll be like a new high after making a low. And then on the 31st, we have the Devil card combined with the Unicursal, so I'd be very, very careful there. Very likely there's a sharp drop there that'll be an attempt to fake us out and make us do the wrong thing there, maybe scare us out, shake out or fake out of some kind. There'll be a prominent trough, probably a sharp drop there, but be very mindful not to do the wrong thing. It does look like there's a lot of decline early in the month of December, actually. And then there's a lot of ground covered. We have it looks like we have an important high in December, maybe right on the cusp of December. Why is it interesting? Because in the December reading, here's a sneak peek. We've got the Ace of Discs in the preview position as well. Right, we've got it here, so that's pretty interesting. I'll look into that in more detail when I look more in detail into December. But that's the overall chart behavior. Now I'm going to give you one of the best trades that I see for the month of November. But before I do that, let's just take a look real quick and see how we did for October. I think we did pretty solid for the majority of October, and then things went a little haywire. Let's check it out. Yeah, so you can see all of these ellipses were drawn based on the October reading, making for a really solid reading. Until up here where we exited out of longs and we were attempting to get into a short, close a short, and get back into a long. But in the last little bit of the month, it kind of went sideways. Anybody that is still in a short, I wouldn't lose hope. There's definitely possibility in November especially early November, of us seeing an opportunity to exit out at probably a mild gain. And especially because we didn't have this failure card kind of energy take place. Usually what that means is that at the end of the month, there's some sort of drop. As far as the best trades, I mean, you can see this was an entry, this was an exit, 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 this was an entry, this was an exit. On a greater scale, this was an exit from an entry all the way back down here. And it looks like out of all of these, there's really only 2 ellipses that were really not on point. This, unfortunately, is an important one. And then there's like a little one right here where we didn't come down quite as low as we expected on that day. But overall, pretty solid. And this is a great example of the type of stuff that you get with the monthly access subscription. These ellipses are part of the they're part of the Bitcoin live updated trading view chart. That if you have monthly access on our website Term for Traders, then you've got the Discord channel for Bitcoin, and at the top of the Discord is a link to that to this live updated chart. So they've been following along with these trades pretty solidly. All right, so on the 11th, I'm going to give you the entry and the exit for this trade, the entry date and the exit date for this trade, and then I'm going to give you some chart behavior to look for that should lead up to the entry. What you want to do is you want to look for this chart behavior, and provided that it transpires as expected leading into the entry, that would be a good indication that this is a solid trade, and you want to enter into the trade at that moment. So the entry is going to be early in the day on the 12th. The exit is going to be on the 13th with a backup exit on the 14th. Now, the chart behavior that you want to look for leading into this, around the 11th, we should have like this. First off, on the 10th, look for an important support level highlighted around the 10th. That's important on a 1-year chart scale. That'll be the beginning of where we're looking. The signal to watch the remainder of the sequence, right? So from that support, there should be a notable move higher around the 11th, followed by a full retracement, taking us into a trough around the cusp of the 11th, 12th. That trough is your entry. You want to get into a long position there for a swing trade. This isn't going to be like a lowest low, but it'll be a significant trough. You want to get into a long position there and hold the long position until probably the following day, when we have a big move starting out of a decline, taking us from the bottom of the range to the top of the range. When we hit the top of that range, that's where you would exit out of the long position. Most likely, that's going to take place early in the day on the 13th. Now, the alternate plan, should that not take place early in the day on the 13th, you'll likely have opportunity either way to add to your long position at the end of the day on the 13th or on the cusp of the 13th, 14th, before we have a notable move to the upside on the 14th with a breakout towards the end of the day, and that'll be like a false breakout. You're looking for that breakout as your backup exit at that point. But with rule of thumb with SO Meta, the backup exits are not things that you generally want to shoot for. We like to take quick gains and move on to another position and take more quick gains. We don't like to shoot for max gain and hold the money in there and risk it for long periods of time. That's not SO Meta. You go with the earliest exit, and then if that exit doesn't work, then you've got backups, all right? So important support on a 1-year chart scale, followed by a prominent move higher and a full retracement of that move, taking us into a trough around the 11th, 12th. That trough is your entry for a long position. Hold the long position until the 13th. Close the long position there. If that doesn't end up being an opportunity, it would be a big move out of a decline from the bottom of the range to the top of the range, taking us into a peak on the 13th. And if that doesn't transpire, add to the long position if you want at the end of the day on the 13th, and then close out of the long position on the 14th when we have this notable breakout towards the end of the day. It'll be breakout on a multi-day kind of scale, but it won't hold. So use that breakout as a signal to exit as your backup. That's the best trade. That's one of the best trades that I see for November. And with that said, that's the Bitcoin November reading. Apologize for any background noise, guys. Again, this was an emergency re-recording of the Bitcoin reading because the sound quality was so terrible in the last one. I had no choice but to record with background noise because I'm out of time, right? So apologies for that. And if you're interested in the timing of the highs, the lowest lows, and all of the best trades, as well as getting access to the live Discord trade alerts and live updated trading view chart links, those two parts of the service are game changers, guys. Like legitimately game changers, because you're getting Discord trade alerts in real time from me, and I'm somebody who's been developing the system for over 25 years, flipping a card every single day, flipping a card every single hour for years and years and years, guys. So it's really super solid edge with that information. So the way that you get that, you go to our website, Term for Traders, hover over order now, click on subscriptions. It's our middle subscription, monthly access. Click here to subscribe, $300 a month. It's super undervalued, and the amount of money that you can make with this information, especially with the live Discord trade alerts and updated trading view charts, I mean, it's well undervalued. Wanted to keep it reasonable for people, but at the same time, we gotta cover the bills, my friends. So that's probably the most popular subscription on the channel, and that's how you get it. Much love to everybody that goes ahead and does that. No worries to those of you that don't. And with that said, you know where to go, you know what to do. Follow that rule of karma. Blessings to all my angel investors. I will see you guys on the next one.